Proposition 17. All right, so this restores the right to vote after completion of a prison term. Quick summary is restores voting rights upon completion of prison term to persons who have been disqualified from voting while serving a prison term. Fiscal impact, annual county costs likely in the hundreds of thousands of dollars statewide for voter registration and ballot materials, one-time state costs likely in the hundreds of thousands of dollars for voter registration cards and systems. What your yes vote means. A yes vote on this measure means that people on state parole, people who have been released from prison after serving their term, who are U.S. citizens, residents of or residents of California, and at least 18 years of age would be able to vote if they register to vote. A no vote means that people on state parole would continue to be unable to vote in California even after they have already completed their prison sentence and done their time. Ladies, this is literally voter suppression written in black and fucking white. That's what this is. Seriously, this is saying that, you know, when you go to jail, you completely lose your rights entirely. Not only do you lose your right to vote, you literally go back to being a slave. The 13th Amendment is enforced when you go to jail. When you are convicted of a crime, your rights are stripped and you are literally a slave in California, literally a slave in America. That is still the rules and the law in our land. If you don't know it, watch the 13th on Netflix. It's really easy. You know, flip a button on your Netflix. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, this is sitting here and telling you that after you've done your time, you know, we all think, okay, you know, I got caught with a joint in my hand. Okay, so now I have to do 2-3 years in jail. Okay, and now I can't vote when I get out after serving my time? Are you kidding me? After doing it, that's the whole point of going to jail. The whole point of going to jail is so that you can serve your prison sentence. And then once you are released, that's why we have sentencing. Once you are released, your rights should be restored. That period, point blank, the end. Your rights as a citizen in this land should be restored. I feel very strongly about this one, but I want to hear your voices. What do you think?
First of all, I want to preface this by saying I agree with you, Angelica. I think that the right to vote is, it's a fundamental right. It's not a privilege the way some people try and frame it. It's your privilege not to vote if you're a citizen. It's your privilege to be apathetic and float through life and not take part in these decisions. It's your right and your obligation, honestly, in my mind, as a citizen to be participating in our democracy. That said, I did have an interesting conversation about some of the specifics in this language, which it was pointed out to me that technically when you're on parole, your prison term is not over. You've simply been allowed out of prison to serve the rest of your term or a portion of your term under supervision. So technically you are still completing your prison term. Now, I think I only bring this up because if people want to decide that that counts as still being, you know, prisoned and a time when you should be stripped of your rights, you know, be aware of that little bit clause in the language. In my personal opinion, as long as you are out and participating in society and not behind those bars, then you should be fully participating in society, and participating in our society and our democracy means exercising your right to vote. So it's moot to me, but I will bring that up because it did cause me to think for a hot second and then reaffirm my position.
For me, it directly affects a lot of the people that I know, a lot of the Black men that I know who are intelligent and care about their society and want to have a say in how the world that they live in functions. And it does not make one iota of sense to me for them to have so-called paid their debt to society, completed a prison term, regardless of level of misdemeanor or felony or length of prison sentence, that they cannot then come out and live a normal life, which in my opinion absolutely includes the right to vote. So why is it not immediately restored like we tell them that everything else should be restored? You can have a home, you can have a job, you should be able to pay for your car, but you can't vote on legislation about the street that you live on or about your taxes that you're going to have to pay, but they're paying them. So to me, it does not make any sense to have them stripped of this right in the first place.
And they're forced to pay those taxes or they go back to jail.
Or yeah.
Right. And you know how I feel about it. I feel like it is another systemic oppression against Black and Brown people, who are ultimately taking over the majority of those incarcerated and continue to infringe upon them even after allegedly serving their term, as Ashley and Heather have mentioned. And the other thing is, we haven't even talked about wrongful conviction. We haven't even talked about people who have been arrested for dime bags in the 90s and now cannabis is legal. Why are those people still in prison? So systematically, this is another attempt to, like you said, to continue with the voter suppression, to not exercise our right. All across the board, I say yes, for sure, unequivocally, without a doubt. This is a step in the right direction in terms of acknowledging the wrong that is done, but we need to proceed further after this. After this is approved, we need to continue to have these conversations and continue to unravel little by little the systemic racism that's currently going on, or that has been going on for as long as the nation has been in existence. Let's be serious. Let's be honest, you know? So I'm gonna pause myself there so Chelsea can have a chance to say something.
Thank you. I absolutely agree with every single thing that you all have said. This one makes me a little bit peeved. It's just, it really just gets under my skin. Just like how you grow up thinking, oh, you know, life's not fair. This is one of those really frustrating parts about life that is super unfair. And this is, like you said, Michelle, one step, just one little tiny step. And it's a definite yes for me. Like Ashley mentioned, we have a lot of people in our lives that this affects directly. And I know for a fact that they will be an amazing contribution in giving their vote. So why are their rights being taken? I have no idea. They've done what they were supposed to do. What more can you ask? It's very frustrating for me too. So yes,